Hey YouTube, this is Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard, Michael William Denny. So I want to share with you my experience with my relationship with my twin flame. And she has passed away. Most of you who follow my channel, you know that. I don't talk about it as much as I used to, but she passed away 2.5 years ago. Let's see. This is, yeah, a little over 2.5 years ago. Um, and so I want to share with you how a twin flame, when they've passed, in my experience, how they stay connected to you and how they communicate to you. I can't guarantee this is going to be the case for everybody, but certainly is the case for me. Um, Let me tell you what I think a twin flame is. I, as I've said before, I think that the vast majority of twin flame stuff out there on YouTube is not just inaccurate. I think it's dangerous and destructive. And I won't get into it and all of it right now at the moment because I want to stay in the positive, happy parts of it. So let me share with you what my experience of a twin flame is. And I don't care if you use the word soulmate or twin flame because the truth is, twin flame is a very new word. It's a whole new concept that's come about. And we used to use the word soulmate, and it means the same thing. The specifics might be different on some things, but trust me, it meant the same thing 20 years ago as twin flame does now. But here's my experience. Twin flame is somebody who actually does complete you. That line from that cheesy movie. You complete me. That was my experience. And I never thought that existed. I thought that was completely, totally impossible. I thought it was just garbage and projection. But, it really was the case for me. She really did complete me. And I had the only time I've ever had this experience in my whole life was when I was in her presence. I felt as though I thought more clearly. I felt more clearly. I was able to process my thoughts and my feelings more clearly because it was like she was the other half of my brain. And she not only loved me and accepted me, it was like she got me. And she actually reflected back to me who I was better than anybody ever has. And so it was like when I was with her, I was like magnified, and everything was so much clearer, and my life was so much clearer. And she had that ability to just do that. Apparently, I had a similar effect on her because I would just share my thoughts and my feelings. I'm really passionate about things that I like, and she got off on watching me be passionate about things. So she would listen to things that even if she didn't relate to it or fully understand it, or if it wasn't part of her, her interest, she's just listening to me, and she would say, "I just need to listen to you talk sometimes." Because I've got a lot. Just me talking about something I was really interested in had some effect on her. She's not physically here to explain it, but that's what I remember. And as a result, she was able to reflect back to me and tell me who I was in ways that I couldn't see. And she was always, always incredibly supportive, incredibly empowering. And she reflected back to me who I was at my highest vibration. I talk about this Mahadeva vibration that I talk about, the source, the source timeline essence of myself. She saw that and reflected it back to me. And as a result of that, because she would see that in me and talk about it, I would rise to meet that vibration. That for me is a soulmate. That for me is a twin flame, especially a twin flame, not just a soulmate, but a twin flame. And so I got to tell you, I don't understand a lot of the twin flame stuff that I'm seeing where people are talking about being separated from their twin flame. Like there's some person that they know, they've dated them, and they're off married to somebody else or they're off doing something else, and people are like, my twin flame this and my twin flame that, and we're waiting for a reunion, and he hasn't awoken to himself yet, and so I'm going to connect with his higher self in the fifth dimensional realm. And I got to tell you, that is just, to me, it sounds so unhealthy. The question of what do you do when your twin flame is married to somebody else? You realize that it's not your twin flame. that's that's how that works. I didn't know her before we had met, but she and I were both convinced that had we met, we would have been together. So the idea that you meet your twin flame and you marry them, or you date them and it falls apart and you break up and you go off and marry other people, and I guess it's not impossible, but I just have a hard time with that. And the idea that you're in this really toxic, destructive relationship, and that's what a twin flame is. It's not like a soulmate where things are copacetic and things feel good. A karmic, but a twin flame, has all of that chaos, and to me that does not fit my definition of my experience of a twin flame at all. But anyway, let me get back to what this was about. So when she passed, I was absolutely certain, based on our experience, that she would be freed, and then we would have an even deeper connection, and that she would come to me in dreams, and I'd be able to feel her presence and feel her talking to me, and still continue to have this love relationship. And when she passed, none of that happened. She was gone. I couldn't feel her anymore. And there was just this hole ripped in the side of the universe. And I didn't know how the universe was holding together. Because how could the universe hold together when this person was gone and not walking around thinking thoughts? And how is that possible? How is it possible that she's in the spirit and I wasn't able to feel her or communicate? How is it that she's not coming to me in dreams? It was really very traumatizing and confusing, because I was sure. I was absolutely sure that it was going to increase our connection. Nope. And I was sharing this with my teacher, but I don't understand. I've dreamt of my mother. I've dreamt of my father. I've communicated with them. They're both passed. I've communicated with other people that have passed. This doesn't make any sense. Why am I not communicating with her? Why can't I go into a shamanic trance and be able to find her and talk to her? Why am I not dreaming about her? And he said, well, maybe because you don't have any unfinished business with her. Maybe you don't have any unresolved unconscious issues. Because that's what the dream state is, your unconscious mind. And I went, whoa, because that was true. When she passed, there wasn't anything left that I needed to tell her. And that's because we didn't have any secrets from each other. And there wasn't a part of me that she didn't see and understand and accept, and vice versa. There wasn't anything I needed to tell her. There wasn't any unfinished business. So that made sense. I wasn't dreaming about her because there was no unfinished business. I had unfinished business with my mother and my father, so that makes sense that they would come to me in my dreams. So how does she communicate with me? How does she interact with me? Well, it was probably, I would say, probably 6 weeks after she passed, which was a long time for me based on what I was experiencing. And I was waking up as I do, every morning when I wake up, that half an hour between, dreaming and waking up and getting out of bed. I stay in bed and I go back into that space and um, I'll have shamanic visions. If there are questions that I have, I will ask the universe questions. If I want to say talk to Odin or whatever deity I'm working with, I can bring them to my mind and ask questions, and sometimes I'll get answers. I'll talk to characters in my dreams and say, "Who are you and what do you represent?" And I'll figure things out, and I'll get all kinds of really powerful information that'll help me in my life. And then I wake up and I go about my day. And so one of those periods, I was waking up and I was talking with myself, as I do, and I sometimes I sit down with myself and in my dream state, and I'll say, here's what we need to work on today, and let's do this. So I was telling myself, as much as I love her and as much as I miss her, it's pretty clear that I'm not going to have any connection with her the way that I want. She's gone, and I'm never going to see her again until I'm done with this body. And I'll never be able to communicate with her again until I'm done with this body. And the sooner that I can accept that and let her go, the better. And as soon as I said that, to myself, if you were looking at me, I would have been asleep. But, in the blackness of with my eyes closed, it was like a sort of a charcoal sketch of an eye, sort of like, like came out. Like it was almost like it was a liquid, and then this eye came out, full eye with eyelids and eyelashes, and came out. The eye was open and, blinked, and there was somebody looking at me. And the feeling I got was, at first I didn't know what to make of that, and I woke up and I was like, what does that mean? And the feeling I took from that was that she was here and she was watching. And furthermore, the feeling that, no, we're not going to have that kind of communication. You're not going to be able to sit down and have a conversation with me. It's not going to be that kind of connection. But I am here and I'm watching. And, I just sort of, I didn't really know what to do with that. And I didn't, to be honest, it wasn't what I wanted to hear. So I don't know that I really banked on it. But, what has happened, and I feel like I don't want to get into the specifics, but there's been probably more than I remember, but I can remember a handful of events where there were very clear signs that somebody was telling me something. One of them is, with this COVID-19 thing, before this turned into a pandemic and before it turned into a lockdown and turned into, the really intense once in a lifetime. I mean, never in my lifetime has anything like this happened all over the world. Before all that, I was sitting here in this house that I'm living in, and I get to see out. I've got this whole like balcony window thing, and I can see out, and I can see my driveway that comes up to here, to the house, and I saw in the driveway that there was a python that was making its way up the driveway. And I didn't think too much about it until it dawned on me, oh, holy crap, that python is making its way up to the house. And I know what snakes do around here. What they, in Australia, what these snakes do is they get into your house. And then you got to get somebody to come in and get rid of them. But they'll find a way into your house, and they'll crawl into some corner up in the roof or in the basement or the attic or whatever it is, and you got a snake. And I thought, I do not want however big that thing was, an 8 or 9 foot python in my house. And so I went down to go and scare it off, and he wasn't moving. And I got closer, and it was dead. And whatever had happened to it, it had started slithering up, and as soon as it passed, if this is the property line, it slithered past it, died. Like its head got over and just died right there. And I didn't know what to make of that. And I thought, I probably talked about it on the channel. I thought it might mean this, it might mean that. Now I know what it meant. It meant that you're safe. You're safe from this pandemic. You're not going to get it. That you're being in your house. You're safe. That nothing's going to cross your property line that's going to make you sick. Because snakes are represented by Rahu in astrology, and Rahu is also a significator of diseases and viruses. And that is just too clear of a sign. Somebody was trying to get a message to me. In fact, I'm just remembering something else. In fact, do I have it here? I don't think I do. It's next to my bed. I found an amethyst about this big. I stepped on it. I was getting out of my car and I stepped on it. And it was our anniversary. And I looked down and there's this huge amethyst. Where the heck did that come from? I believe that was her gift to me on our anniversary. And there's been a couple other things that I can't explain. I don't want to get into it because I don't want to sensationalize it. There was a couple of things that if I were to share it with you, you'd be like, that's right out of a movie. The point is that she's here. She's communicating with me. She's watching me, and she's taking care of me. She's keeping me safe. But it's not like she's going to sit down in the empty chair next to me and she's going to tell me something. And that's not how it's working. I don't understand it, other than perhaps when we're in the human form, we just can't communicate with them. I also believe very strongly that they're not meant to communicate with us on that kind of a conscious interactive level. I think that if they were to do that, we wouldn't function very well. That we're here to live our lives and make our choices and make our mistakes, and they can be here. I mean, if I look at all of the things now, like that snake and a few other things, it's like one, if I were to share it with you, you would be, oh my God. But it's real clear that she's here and she is providing and protecting and helping in ways I can't possibly imagine. And I don't know. I'm not supposed to know. And it's not her job to make me feel better or to be a companion in that way. It's once somebody has left their physical body, the interaction that they have with the living, their rules, they can't go beyond. They're not allowed to, break the rules and, appear in front of you. Not that it doesn't happen. I mean, my grandmother talks about an experience, but again, it was very extreme. My grandfather appeared to my grandmother, but it was a very extreme experience, and it was still along the lines of waking her up to get back to her life. And so their job is to help you have your life. It's not theirs anymore. When they're here and in the physical body, then it's your life together. But once they're out of the body, it's not their life anymore. They're not allowed to interact that way. They're going to encourage you to connect with other people. They're not gonna, because if I were able to like summon her and have her sit next to me and see her and hear her voice and talk to her, I'd never leave the house because I was so in love with her. I would never leave the house. I would spend all my time talking with her. In fact, I like begged and pleaded for her to talk to me. She didn't. I understand now. That's not their job. Uh, I didn't really know what would happen. I didn't know if she would stay or if she would leave. I didn't know if she's going to go off and reincarnate. And I don't know, maybe she will later. I don't know. It's only about 2.5 years, but I didn't know what her job would be when she's done. I believe at least up till now, she's still here with me. And she's still a part of my life. And and behind the scenes and staying out of the way, but doing her job to help. And I believe she's protecting, and I think she's helping me fulfill my truest destiny. And so that's my experience. Now, I have to talk about what I think, look, this whole twin flame thing where, making the difference between a karmic and a twin flame. I think that's a really destructive thing to do because, uh, from what I've heard, people who are talking about twin flames, what they're describing is dysfunctional, really screwed up, toxic relationships. And a twin flame is not going to be a toxic relationship. A twin flame is going to be the healthiest relationship you've ever had in your entire existence. And so the idea that your twin flame is married to a karmic and having kids and having a good life and in love with their karmic, but you're the twin flame and you have this really toxic relationship with them, maybe you should just switch that around. Maybe you're the karmic and the other person is the twin flame. And I think we should start looking at twin flames differently. The whole idea that, people use twin flames as an excuse not to have relationships in the three-dimensional. Because, the fifth dimensional harmonic is the true one and this is just the illusion. I just think that's a really sick and sad way to live. We should all have love in our lives. And if your person, whatever word you want to call it, soulmate, karmic, twin flame, if they're toxic and or they've left you and or they're married to somebody else and or they're not with you and or they've died, it means it's time to move on. It means it's time to find a new one. And to find a healthier relationship. The whole idea of wanting to stay connected to an unhealthy relationship and stay attached to it, none of that makes any sense to me at all. And even though everything I've said is true, which is if you were to, just take a piece of magic chalk and draw a hole in the three-dimensional universe and told me if you walk through that, she'll be waiting for you, I'd walk through. I'd walk away. I'd drop it all and go be with her. But I don't get to do that because I have a job to do. I believe that I will see her. It is my deepest hope, and I choose to believe that the moment that my soul leaves my body, that she'll be there waiting for me. And then we'll be reunited. That's something that keeps me going. And knowing that what made her happiest. Here's another thing about twin flame. If your twin flame isn't completely fulfilled and happy when you are at your best and you are living your truest dream, it's not your twin flame. If your twin flame doesn't get you and your twin flame says things that make you feel demeaned and misunderstood, then it's not a twin flame. Because for me, one of the reasons that keeps me working to have more fun in my life and to have a better life is because I know it makes her happy. And the most important thing in my existence now is to bring her fulfillment and happiness and joy. And the way that I do that is I keep myself healthy, I keep myself strong, I live my life to the fullest, I give myself everything I could possibly want, and I do all the things that make me happy. And every day now I try. I mean, I was just today walking around. You've seen the pictures, the film, I'll share it again. I was walking across the road from my house, and this beach down here that I live right across from is just so unbelievably amazing. And I went down there and just was walking along the beach and looking around at all the rainforest surrounding it, and just the beautiful plants and the butterflies, and saying to myself, I'm only here on this planet for a limited amount of time. And I am really grateful that I'm in this three-dimensional world where I get to have this beauty. And to be aware once again that I chose to live in the place that would make me the happiest, which is here. And if you're spending your life waiting for something out there, that's going to, the phrase that I hear that it sounds really sad to me is, when I go on YouTube and somebody will say that I am a twin flame who is awaiting reunion. It sounds so sad and pathetic to me. That you're just waiting around. You know what? Your twin flame, if they really are your twin flame, they're going to want you to go be happy. They're going to want you to go be with somebody and find love. If your twin flame isn't there to give you love, find love. Find happiness. Find companionship with a karmic. What difference does it make? Anyway, so I just thought I would share that. I wanted to share some of my experience about what does a twin flame do when they pass? I believe what they do is that they do stick around. I believe a lot of the time. I think they watch. I think they protect. I think they help. I think they're behind the scenes arranging things, going forward in time and backward in time, to alter things and to create opportunities for you. I believe that she's working to help. I believe she helped me find this house. I believe she helped me with my career and my success and my health. And I believe she's here doing all that, and that's their job. When they're no longer here in the physical realm, they're working behind the scenes to give you opportunities, to give you good luck, and they're not here to be our companions in the ways that we might want. They're not here to hold our hand and make us feel good at night when we go to sleep. And, they're not here for that. We need to live our own lives, and their job is not to get in the way of that, but to help us be our best selves. So that's what I think, what happens. That's probably true with other relationships when they pass on, but I believe that's what a twin flame does for you. So that's it for me today. Anyway, a lot more stuff coming on the channel. As you can see, I'm experimenting with a lot of things. Still looking forward to get this 24-hour, 24/7 live stream thing going on. So it's all coming, just one thing at a time. Just as long as, here's a life lesson. As long as you can say to yourself, I'm a few steps further today than I was yesterday, or I'm one step further away than I was yesterday. Any improvement, any progress, not perfection. You just want to keep making progress towards whatever your goals are every day. So that's it. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.